Hello everyone, I am FrostCloud on my Mr. Chaos the Cunning Wolf channel. And I am so sorry for the delay of this reaction. Ever since I wrote the synopsis for this episode, I was so excited to react to it when it of course came out originally last Saturday. But I wasn't able to because I got kind of sick, so my voice was kind of out. So it was to a point where if I spoke too high, nothing would come out. Literally nothing would come out. I would actually test with myself, and yes, it's a weird way to do it, but to myself quietly, I would like sing a bit of a cover of Invisible from Forgotten Friendship, and nothing would come out. So I would always do that over and over to see how far my voice is healed. But now, as you can see, I can speak perfectly normally, so... Anyways, other than that apology, this episode, of course, is going to be the 8th episode of Season 8, Frenemies. And the reason why I'm so excited for this one is because, first of all, this is the one where Grogar is supposed to be making his next appearance, along with his, according to the MLP wiki, his Legion of Doom. Apparently, this episode is supposed to have Grogar sending Tyrek, Cozy Glow, and Queen Chrysalis on a bit of a mission to become allies, but then they end up becoming friends, I guess. Which they obviously don't want to be if we've seen how they acted in the premiere, but apparently there's also supposed to be a song in this, Better Way to Be Bad. So, just that alone is gonna be good. And in the last episode before the She's All Yak, we also got a really good song, so... I guess Daniel Ingram is really beginning to spoil us with all these treats, but okay, I'm not gonna go off topic, but this looks like it's gonna be a really, really good episode. And after the episode, which I don't even want to mention, things seem to have been going up so far. You all saw how I thought about the episode She's All Yak when I reacted to it, and how I said it was amongst my most favorite of Season 9 so far. I can envision this being one too just by looking at it, but I don't know, maybe it'll turn out boring or maybe it'll be underwhelming. I don't know, but usually when an episode has a song in it and it has an interesting enough synopsis, that's when I know it's gonna be good. But anyway, I don't want to keep myself and you all waiting anymore, so without further ado, let's just see what this is.
I don't want to tattle on my good friend Tyrek, but you might like to know he left food out. Again.
I'll deal with it when I'm done. Don't trust anything that nosy little Pegasus says. I don't trust anything any of you say.
Are you planning on attacking?
Granted, I'm kind of the same thing.
Anywho, Grogar wants us all to work together, so I've scheduled a team meeting.
That's cute for some reason.
Sound fun? And since Grogar left me
Cozy.
in charge,
No, you didn't.
someone's a real grumpy door today. If we aren't meeting, I guess I could just stay and offer positive and
He's gonna crush her with that dumbbell if she keeps that up, isn't he?
See you soon.
It's been weeks and Grogar has done nothing. It's not healthy to hold on to all of this rage. I could lash out at any moment.
And how are you doing this fight?
How do you think I'm doing?
For some reason, that rock formation right there looked a bit questionable.
Being cooped
I don't
up
know
never
why.
to do
Somebody's
other
probably
things.
making clop art of that already with me just saying that, aren't they?
No, he did.
Oh, is this it already?
I think I know a way that we can grow. Time to try something new, something better. No more so low. Trust is the way to go. And all we need to do is work together.
Ah, please. No thanks, no way. I feel the need to say I'm smarter, stronger, and I don't need you to.
Stronger? Okay. I guess we'll downplay how bad you got your rear end handed to you.
Time to try a better way to be bad.
Do we really need a better way to be bad?
United as one.
Teamwork, please. What a fad.
Combine all our strength. We'll go to any length once we have a better way to be bad. Let's go. Begin.
Even though it's still saddening to me that Cozy Glow was given absolutely no backstory when she was revealed to be evil, this is still an enjoyable song.
Just put me in charge, make me queen.
Well, she wanted to be the Empress. That was entertaining. I felt like a villain variant of Glass of Water for some reason.
I have come close to ruling Equestria several times.
Well, no, Turek almost actually fully won, actually, if it weren't for Discord.
Thousands of moons ago, the self-righteous Gusty the Great, unable to...
Yeah, isn't he one of the ponies from Generation 1?
Scale Mount Everhoof. Bring me back my bell.
Everhoof. I understand the pun, but come on, that's... I don't know, seems a bit uncreative to me, but whatever. That honestly looks nothing compared to the height of the castle in Tundra Bay. I'm just saying. That's why LC's home city.
With several visual aids to show how we can ditch each other and do it alone. Maybe when I'm waiting for them at the top, then they'll appreciate me.
I like the twilight colored snow attire right there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a bug pwn can't get through all that. Of course, there goes Cozy Glow with her masterous manipulation tactics. Too bad there's no actual backstory to back it up, though.
Nothing at the top but dangerous snow, dangerous ice, and dangerous wind. Basically, it's dangerous.
It must get lonely all by
Could have said Danger Central.
Your friend?
Oh, I'd love a friend.
So now that we are friends, you could help me up the mountain.
A real friend wouldn't ask me to do something I'm not supposed to do. Says so right here in the Journal of Friendship. Twilight Sparkle and her friends.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, that has to be one of the most funniest parts of this season so far.
I tried being nice.
Now just calm down there, Philly.
You calm down. Ponies are supposed to do what I ask them to do. It's like my thing, okay?
Again, I wish we knew where this mentality stemmed from. Maybe we'll learn in this episode, or maybe later in the season. Because then maybe I'll forgive the majority of the season 8 finale for everything. Well, almost everything.
At least now we can see the real you.
This is not the real me. I'm cute and lovable.
No, you're not. You're annoying and you snore.
I do not snore. At least I don't talk to my Gram in my sleep.
Don't you dare bring Gram into this.
Okay, this villain comedy right here is way funnier than the comedy of Grubber from the movie.
Quick, it's distracted. Let's
What even are those? Little snake vines? Or bow snakes? Or whatever.
So much love. I haven't eaten this well in ages.
So gross.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
I didn't save you because I like you. I did it because I
Need us?
yes.
Yeah, who wouldn't love to see those prissy ponies realize they lost everything?
I'm a pathetic pony princess. I made a detailed list of all the ways I'm a failure.
I mean, Twilight kinda does that when she's twilighting out.
Worst thing.
Perhaps, as long as it results in the complete destruction of our enemies.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Do the pathetic princess thing again.
I guess this is the part in the synopsis where they end up becoming friends, which is what they didn't wanna. Ursa Minor. Always reminded of that part in the stormy road to Canterlot. The part where it breaks Tempest's horn.
How do I know you won't take my magic and leave me?
Would we do that to you? Okay, normally, yes.
I'll give you your magic back.
Do it.
So much power! Welcome back, baby!
Kind of sounded a bit like the Storm King when he was playing with the staff of Sakanis.
And the entire world will bow to my ba-ba-ba-boom, baby!
When you use your power to help others.
Yes, it feels... No! The magic of friendship is like a disease, an infection that spreads to those around you. I watched it infect my hive. I will not.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, are all these guys gonna be reformed by the end? I mean, come on, we already got Sunset Shimmer, Starlight Glimmer, and countless others already for that.
You failed to retrieve the bell!
We're sorry, Almighty Grogar.
We worked together as you asked.
We just aren't as powerful as you.
Ah! Obviously. At least you finally did as you were told and worked together.
Of course.
Whatever you command.
Forget about that old bell. You were right. We're so much more powerful when we work as a team.
Wow. Good cliffhanger, but that was amazing. Without a doubt, I can definitely say this is another one of my most favorite episodes of Season 9. And as I said in the beginning, I can actually say it while being more happy this time. And rather than being, you know, I don't want to be reminded of it, but ever since that episode that shall not be mentioned, Season 9 appears to be just going up and upwards. I mean, first we had that really good episode, She's All Yak, and now we have this. And just like to change a changeling from Season 7, this episode features absolutely none of the main six, so that just makes it even more interesting. And this probably has to be one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen, right next to the Saddle Row review. Seriously, I just loved the interaction between Cozy and Tyrek and Queen Chrysalis. And the song Better Wait to Be Bad. Would I say it's one of my most favorites in the series? Well, I believe I've said this before. My most favorite types of songs in MLP are usually the ones that are either beautiful or moving. This is kind of, like I said, it's kind of a villain variant of A Glass of Water, meaning it's not one of my favorites, but it is fun, and it is catchy. Somewhat like I'm the Friend You Need from the movie. It was at the least, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. I just found it more of a catchy song rather than just a genre I'm into, if that makes sense. So that's basically what I thought of the song after listening to it twice, obviously, because for this I felt it was appropriate to watch it again because I felt that I was talking over some crucial parts. So before filming this part of the video, I went back and rewatched it quickly before doing this part. That ending leaves a lot of questions. I know I probably should be saving this part for the end, but I think I'll just say this part now. Now that bell, I don't know if they're keeping it for themselves. They obviously say at the end, you know what, how about we just forget about that Grogar guy and make our own plan? But that just makes me wonder, what is Grogar gonna do by the end of the season? Like, is he gonna find out about this? Or does he have a power? Does he have power to eavesdrop over what they're saying? What if he heard what they said? And what if he finds the bell and discovers that they were keeping it for themselves? I mean, there's only so many scenarios I can come up with because this is MLP. They gotta keep this, you know, PG rated, but I don't know, is Grogar going to permanently defeat them? I mean, I'm not exactly sure what happened to King Sombra. I guess he was permanently defeated? Or banished back to the north, I don't even know. I think he was obliterated permanently because he's not in this episode, he's not back with Grogar, so I guess it's as Grogar says.
I'd say he gambled and lost.
So I wonder if the same thing's gonna happen to pretty much our villain trio right here if Grogar finds out. Or what if they defeat him, and then go on with their plan to defeat Equestria in some way or another? Are they gonna become friends as the series goes on? I don't know if it's a good idea for if all of them were to be reformed by the end of the season, because don't we already have enough antagonists like that? We have, well, okay, yeah, one of my most favorite reformed villains, Tempest Shadow. And we got Starlight Glimmer, we have Sunset Shimmer, we have Juniper Montage, we have Wallflower Blush. We have a whole bunch of reformed villains. And of course, our very own Discord. So I don't think we really need any more reformed villains because I think we already have enough of them. And speaking of that, with Cozy Glow, I don't know if this really has something to do with it, but it's really the only way I can think of segueing from that into Cozy. As I said during the reaction, it still does bother me that she didn't really get that much of a complex backstory as to why she was the way she was in the finale. But who knows, it's like I said, if it's furtherly explained later in the season, where hopefully maybe we get another episode with these three, then maybe we will see a flashback. I mean, we got a flashback of the defeat of Grogar from that Gusty the Great guy. And I've heard that Gusty is apparently one of the Generation 1 ponies, which makes sense because I've heard that Grogar himself is actually a remaster of his older self from Generation 1. So I guess it's meant to be somewhat of a tribute or a shout out or callback to the very first generation. I don't know. I haven't watched this Return of the Tablin. That's what the thing is called that he's featured in, or the episode he appears in Generation 1. I've never watched any part of Generation 1. I mean, I have the movie from Generation 1 that I got last year for my birthday. I still need to watch it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. And I don't even know where in the series the movie even takes place, so that's even more. And from what I've seen of the cover and the synopsis and everything, Grogar doesn't even appear in that one. Instead, it's this goo thing, or what? I'm not here to talk about that. You know, now that I think of it, but the Mountain Guardian, who actually his name is Rusty Bucket, I don't know if being alone for that long has done things to him, but or that he's invincible because he survived that avalanche that, you know, our new trio here have caused when they were going back up the mountain past his house. The part where he says this after Cozy Glow is rolled down the mountain by a snowball, he just goes... I'm just thinking, like, okay, I know Cozy Glow is an antagonist and all, but... Dude, that's pretty much a that's pretty much a foal that just probably just died, and you don't care. So again, maybe being alone for that long kind of inverted his priorities, and maybe being cold for that long kind of did things to his head. But I don't know, maybe it's the reason why he has rubber bones, because that's the only reason I can assume he survived that avalanche, and he just went, when Cozy was was pretty much trampled by the snowball. The only way I can really describe this episode is definitely one of my most favorites. I tried to think of some flaws I had with it, but honestly, not really. And this episode is... The reason why I like it so much is kind of hard to explain. Well, maybe it isn't, because it's one of those episodes that does a big cliffhanger at the end, but it does it the right way. And it's an episode that just leaves you with so many more questions than answers. For example, how powerful is this Grogar, actually? Even without his bell. I mean, it appears that our new trio of Doom here are keeping the bell for themselves. But it seems that even without his bell, it's like he was saying when he had them pinned against the wall, this is only a fraction of how powerful I am. You want to see how powerful I really am? So, yeah, it's kind of scary when you think about it, but at the same time, it's captivating. And like I said, I wonder if we're going to be getting more story arc or more character building for Queen Chrysalis, Tyrek, and Cozy herself. I really hope they do more for Cozy, because if they actually give her a proper backstory as to why she is the way she is, then I could forgive a good chunk of for the way the season finale was. I mean, I do have some issues with that finale. For example, too many things happening at once and it feeling a bit tedious. I don't know, even taking the whole Cozy Glow not having a story thing out of the picture, it was still quite a tedious episode and it was kind of underwhelming. And I don't know if it's just me, but it really does feel like the Tree of Harmony just materialized out of nowhere to wrap up the plot at the end. I don't know, maybe other people may think differently, or maybe that's the sparkly version of Twilight seeing that the Student 6 have learned something and now it's time for them to defeat them. I wonder if Tree Light Sparkle is some sort of goddess that the now destroyed Tree of Harmony has taken form of. I hope we see more of her later on, because I don't know, I just like the concept. It's not just because Twilight is my waifu and all, but it's just interesting to see some pony or just some character in MLP in general who's your waifu or her spondo in a sparkly sort of goddess sort of metaphor or something form. What I don't know, there's just something about it. Like I said, this is a very, very good episode. I mean, it had a nice catchy song, but most of all, it leaves more questions than answers in a very good way. In a way that keeps you thinking, okay, what's gonna happen next? And with this episode alone, I am really looking forward to the next episode of which these three are featured. Or maybe that we're not going to see them again until the end, which would be kind of unfortunate. But I really want to see where the story arc of this season goes with these three, because honestly, I'm interested. I'm honestly hooked. I'm just as hooked as when Twilight is talking about how when she first discovered the Daring Do series back in the episode Read It and Weep. And I know it may seem like a stretch, but as I said, I honestly couldn't in good conscience find anything really wrong with this episode. And the way I feel about this episode gave me that feeling that no orange or green 10 out of 10 paws would warrant. So, I am proud to say that this episode of Season 9 is another blue glowing 10 out of 10 paws to add to my list in that regard. I am sorry, but it's hard to describe, but I just absolutely loved this episode, and it really makes me hope for more. And I don't even care if there's no song in the next episode just featuring these two, because I just want to see what happens to them in general. And figure out what this Grogar guy is going to do if he finds out what they're actually doing. If they're going to be defeated, or if he's going to be defeated. In a way, this sort of feels like an MLP kind of version of the story in GTA 4. I don't know if that's a very good comparison, but what I mean is, there's no real protagonist in that story, of course, because it's a GTA story, but what I mean is, every character in a way is sort of an antagonist. But there's a lot of instances where the antagonists betray each other. And the reason why I say it's comparable to this is, it makes me wonder if it's almost going to be the same in that regard as well, without all the deaths and with all the gore, because, you know, it's GTA, but it makes me wonder if this is sort of going to be that same dark theme. The case of an antagonist or multiple antagonists betraying each other. I don't know if it's going to be like that, but again, stuff like this makes me really look forward to the next episode that's going to be featuring, or if not, just starring this trio again. So to the person who wrote this episode, Michael Vogel, I've seen him write a few select other of stuff in MLP, but I really have to applaud you, man, for writing this, and what a coincidence you have the same name as me in real life, even though my preferred pronouns are my OC's name, Frostcloud, because there's a lot of things connected with my real name that I want to forget about. But yeah, to Michael Vogel, very good work with this episode. I am very proud to have yet another episode of MLP Season 9, or just in MLP in general, to add to my blue glowing 10 out of 10 paws list. It really is a good feeling. Anyway, so that was my reaction to MLP Season 9, Episode 8, Frenemies. Thank you all for joining me once again. Keep it frosty, and have a wonderful day. Bro Huff.